Hello and welcome to Foreign Chatra. We will be discussing on a complete guide to what GKS Scholarship is and how to navigate through GKS Scholarship for 2025. So let's get on with it. GKS, or the Global Career Scholarship, is a fully funded opportunity that is usually given to students worldwide. It is an opportunity where students can study in South Korea. So, say you're an Indian student dreaming of studying in Korea for free. You can apply for this opportunity because this is your golden ticket. Now, here is everything you need to know on how to apply for GKS Scholarship 2025. So, what is the GKS Scholarship? Let's understand what this scholarship is all about. So, the Global Korea Scholarship is funded by the South Korean government. Now, it is a scholarship which promotes international education and also cultural exchange. It is a way in which they can bring in cultural diversity within the country. It is a fully funded scholarship covering full tuition, flight tickets, monthly stipend, and many more. And this scholarship is available for both undergraduate and also graduate students. So, undergraduate programs are generally for 5 years, that is 1 year of Korean plus 4 years of degree, and graduate programs involve 3 to 4 years, that is 1 year of Korean plus 2 to 3 years for masters or even PhDs, so it can vary. Let's now take a look at the eligibility criteria for GKS of 2025. To actually apply for the scholarship, one must also attain certain criteria or requirements. Let's take a look at what these requirements are. So firstly, nationality. Since this guide is for Indian students or Indian citizens specifically, you must fulfill the criteria that you are an Indian citizen. Moving to the next point, we have academic requirements. Here, you must have achieved at least 80% in the last academic qualification, or you need to belong to the top 20% of your class, which is equally as difficult as getting into an Ivy League. Again, another such eligibility criterion is your age limit. So for undergraduate courses, you need to be at least below 25 years. And for graduate, below 40 years of age. As for the last criterion, one must be physically and mentally fit to actually get the scholarship. We now know what the various criteria is for qualification of GKS. Now let's take a look at the application process for GKS 2025. The first point is choosing the application track. Now here we have two subpoints. First is the embassy track. Under this point, you need to apply through the Korean embassy in India. So you can select up to 3 universities under this very application track. Now the second subpoint, the university track. Here you can directly apply to the Korean university, but you can only choose one with less competition. The second point, and also the most important, is to gather your documents, your academic transcripts, your degree certificate, both notarized and translated into English as well as Korean, your statement of purpose, SOP, your letters of recommendation, LORs, medical certificate, proof of citizenship, passport, or birth certificate is very much necessary, so do keep that in hand. The last point here is submitting the application. Where can we actually submit the application and the documents that we have gathered? Now, to do that, you can go to the embassy track and submit to the Korean embassy directly. If not, for university track, you can submit directly to the chosen Korean university that you have applied or chosen. It is also very important to note that embassy track can provide you with a multiple choices of universities to apply for, but it is highly competitive. But as in university track, you are provided with only one choice of university. However, the acceptance rate can be high as they directly take in students. Now that we have talked about the application process, let's take a look at the selection process and the interview tips that actually help during the interview. It starts with the first round. So in the first round, the document is screened by the Korean embassy or the university, where they check if you have provided the correct documents. Now the second round involves interview. So embassy track applicants generally go through an interview in the second round. In the third round, the selection is done by NIIED or the Korean Education Ministry. To help with the interview, some common questions to keep in mind during the interview or be prepared for are: why do you want to study in Korea? Or why did you choose this particular major or field of study? If not, how will you contribute to Korea-India relationship internationally? And what are your final goals after your graduation? So these are some important interview questions you need to be prepared before you go for the interview. So here's a tip. Give your answers naturally, personalize it. Your response should show a clear connection of why you want to study in Korea and what your future goals are. Moving on, let's take a look at some common mistakes and how to avoid them. So generally, a lot of students and their applications get rejected because there are some mistakes that could have been avoided during the interview. But due to no awareness, they could not do so. Now let's take a look on how to avoid them. The first point, notarizing documents. So not notarizing documents can be fatal. It is important that one follows the official guidelines in order to avoid such mishaps. Moving ahead with the second point, generic SOP or statement of purpose. Now we see that a lot of students copy or plagiarize their statement of purpose, which is why their applications are usually rejected. It is important that you need to personalize your statement of purpose with real-life experiences to bring originality into your statement of purpose. Now the third and the most important is choosing random universities. When you go and look up for universities, it is important to research what the university is all about and choose it wisely. Do not apply to random universities or programs just because you want the golden ticket to Korea. Think and examine through it before applying for any programs or universities. The last point being incomplete application. Generally, submitting an incomplete application can result in rejection of your application. It will be wise to double check all your documents before submission. Let's take a look at now what life in Korea as a GKS scholar is like. So generally, a GKS scholar as an international student experiences a vibrant academic environment and cultural immersion, with some landing career opportunities in Korea. But now, let's take a look at the stipend and living cost as a GKS scholar in Korea. So the scholars generally receive around 1 million South Korean won per month, which equals to around 60,000 in Indian rupees. So they are allowed enough for basic living expenses. Now, part-time jobs are also available and allowed after the first year of language learning and training. However, there are also various challenges that one faces as an international student. Now, one such very important factor is the language barrier. So learning Korean is essential for daily life. Now, cultural differences can also be one such challenge, such that adjusting to Korean etiquette and academic expectations as well. Because Korean universities generally have rigorous coursework. The academic pressure can be really high and very stressful to the scholar or the student. To overcome this, one needs to socialize, very importantly, make friends internationally, and also engaged in cultural exchange programs. Most importantly, try to learn and adapt to the language as much as you can. Lastly, let's take a look at some final tips for GKS 2025 applicants. The first tip is to start early. It is always wise to start preparing early on since the competition is generally tough, so do not wait for the last moment to fill in your applications. Always triple check your documents. Incomplete applications are rejected immediately. Do go through it again and again to check if you have missed out on anything. The third tip is to research universities before application so that you choose the best fit for your career goals and not just go with the flow. Lastly, and most importantly, it is best to join student forums and groups. Groups on various social media accounts, whether it be Telegram or Instagram or even Facebook. So connect with past GKS scholars so that they can guide you during your application process. Also, you can check up on the Korean Embassy's official website to check for any updates. If you want to pursue further for GKS 2025, you can always book a consultation with Foreign Chatra. This was the end of the session. Good luck with your application process of GKS 2025. Thank you all.